This video will be discussing Module 8, Social Change and Behavior. The first question, society has changed over the past decade from style to language and even our environmental resources. Give an example of how social change has affected the physical environment, population, innovation, diffusion, and mass media. So first, social change refers to the transformation of culture, behavior, social institutions, and social structure over time. For the first example, we will talk about how social change has affected the physical environment. This could be how a lot of people now have cut down on the use of plastic straws and replaced them with reusable metal straws or no straws at all. We can see this in some restaurants where no straws are given, or waiters ask now if you would like a straw. Or we can see how at Starbucks they have new lids that no longer require the use of straws. So next is the example of how social change has affected the population. The population has increased due to urbanization or the rise and growth of cities. Also, with new and better medicine, we are now able to live a much longer lifespan than we were before. So an example of how social change has affected innovation is in the beginning of time, traveling by foot was the main way to get from one place to another. Then came horses, boats, trains, and now with new innovations, we have cars, airplanes, bikes, and many more ways that are all becoming more and more efficient as time goes on. All these innovations have led us to where we are today. Next is diffusion. An example on how social change has affected diffusion is how our societies are interconnected. Food, clothing, trade, and goods are all examples of diffusion. Lastly, for this question, we will have an example on how social change has influenced mass media. Mass media influences our social, civil, cultural, political, and economic outlook. It can be a great thing, however, with mass media, there are chances that some things you see or read can be false information. However, it is a great way to connect with people from around the world, keeping in contact with friends, family, and sharing ideas and opinions. The second question is the information revolution was and still is an important perspective in social change. In your opinion, how has it changed society, and how do you feel it will change society in the future? So the information revolution has changed society by giving faster access to information. Growth in internet use has been extremely rapid. In 1997, only 18% of US households had internet, and by 2011, that number has more than quadrupled. With internet, we can read the news, order books, check class assignments and grades, order items, watch videos, and many other things. However, with the good can also come some bad. Access to the internet can allow crime and deviance. People can commit identity theft, fraud, prey on the vulnerable, and buy and sell illegal goods. Third question, how has modernization changed many underdeveloped nations? So modernization has brought a huge change in underdeveloped nations. Modernization describes the process by which a society moves from traditional or pre-industrial social and economic arrangements to those characteristics of industrial societies. Social evolution, adoption of new technologies, developing better living, better housing, and better education are all examples on how modernization has changed underdeveloped nations. The fourth question, what are the types of social movements that have occurred in history? When and why did they occur? So social movements are caused from social misery and social economic deprivation. There are four main types of social movements: redemptive, reformative, revolutionary, and alternative. An example of when a social movement happened in history would be the American Revolution. This was an ideological and political revolution in colonial North America between 1765 and 1783. There isn't a single cause that is found to have led to the American Revolution. It was a series of events beginning disagreement over the way Great Britain governed the colonies and the way the colonies believed they should be treated. So as we can see with all these questions, social change and behavior has a tremendous impact on our lives in the United States and developing nations. It helps our society become something different while still remaining in some aspects the same, and has gotten us to where we are today.